Okay, so you can start by either entering the VIN, or this entire program is app-based, so you can download on any smartphone, tablet, or device and VIN scan the VIN as well. Once you enter the VIN, you will start to see what is going on with the vehicle. So these three numbers here are our platform. So as we're going through and, configuring the used car invoice and working on this vehicle, you will see these three numbers moving as we're doing things. If you do have a Carfax account, you will want to make sure that it is linked up, and we do offer that integration free of charge. And then you would know the minute you VIN decode this car if it does have a bad VHR Carfax. If it did, this button would automatically be selected, and your target auction price would be marked in red for you to keep in mind as you're going through and creating the exit strategy. Okay, we will want to start by entering the kilometers on the vehicle. So if this vehicle only had 75,000, how that affects the price of the car, or as opposed to maybe 120,000 on it. A little bit of a difference. Okay, so we got the miles in, the kilometers in. Color, as you know, does factor in on the price of the vehicle. And then, of course, interior color. If they are trading this vehicle, the customer out of service, or you're looking at the vehicle purchasing at an auction, and your exit strategy is to keep this vehicle for retail, and there's only one key or fob associated with it, more than likely you're going to have another one cut or provide when you go to retail the vehicle. So how does that affect the price of the vehicle? Next, we do give you standard options on the vehicle, and when we do VIN decode, we did see automatically that this does have a tech package associated with it. So we only give you value impacted options, or options that would negatively impact the vehicle. So if this was a truck, let's say, and it was only a two-wheel truck, that would negatively impact it as opposed to being a four-wheel drive. So we would give you that option here as well. So if this vehicle does have all the options, it's a loaded up vehicle. Again, price is now starting to look a little bit different, and your exit strategy is becoming a different player here. We did cover if the vehicle does have a bad VHR associated with it, what that would look like. And you do have the ability, when talking with the consumer, of asking them what happened in the accident, maybe how much the payout was or the damage amount, and you have the ability to actually put that in there. So if they told you it was $1,300, you would have the ability to put that in there, and then it does adjust. Now, as many of you know, I'm sure you're very seasoned car people on the call with us today, that you could have a car with a clean VHR, but one with frame damage. So you do have the ability to check the vehicle and make sure that there is not frame damage, but a clean VHR, or vice versa, one with both. If it is the original owner, as you know, that's the best time to trade the vehicle from the original owner. You can get the entire history and most times service records on the vehicle. We will associate and give credit to that. If not, and they are the second owner or they're not even sure, that's fine. We don't, negatively impact that car. We just mark that it is a two-owner vehicle. Next is best practice to keep your customers engaged, and your salespeople or your manager that's working with the customer on the car is to go ahead and walk out to the vehicle and start to walk around on the vehicle. And simply just start at the front of the vehicle and walk on the vehicle, and anything that you can see or note, you would want to go ahead and make a notation here for that and say, this is a dent on the door. And then the question becomes, is it a repair or a replace? We'll say it's a repair. You have the ability to go ahead and write a description in there, and then, of course, upload the photo of the dent on that vehicle. Now, if this car did have a bad Carfax associated with it, and we took a peek at that Carfax and read it, and let's say that it said it was hit in the rear end, so we would look back here and see, okay, possibly is there previous paint work? And then the question becomes, is it acceptable, substandard, or need to be replaced? You have the ability to check that off as well. And again, make any descriptions and add any photos that you feel you would like to do. So you simply just continue to walk the vehicle and note anything. We do drill down as far as any mirrors on the vehicle and any, of course, headlights or taillights, anything wrong or broken, missing with that as well. Next, you will move on to the glass of the vehicle and note anything that is wrong with the windshield, the rear glass, any chips, any replacement, any power windows inoperable, and how, again, this price affects this VIN. Next, we will look at the interior of the vehicle, anything loose, missing, scratched. We go as far as if a power seat is inoperable, if there's a heft missing in the vehicle, anything at all that you want to tell us about that. On the dash, anything broken, missing, shifter knobs, touch screen, possibly broken, not working. The radio is inoperable. And then lastly, if you are keeping this car for retail and the books are missing, that is a big one. You are going to have the books reorder cut for the vehicle, so you would want to make a note for that. Again, our exit strategy, keeping it for retail. Wheels and tires. So you're going to start at just the front left of the vehicle and note how those tires look to you. And I want to also make a quick note down here is everything we're associating with the vehicle, with the exception of tires, we mark off at full retail cost. So if they had to replace or fix this window and the customer wanted to take it back and do the work themselves, it would be at full retail $600 to have that fixed. We realize that you might be able to get it done a little bit cheaper and you have the ability to work with that as well. But I just want to make a note so when we're looking at the damage that we're associating. Tires, we do keep it more of a realistic cost because we've done studies and the majority of people do know how much it would cost to replace a tire or a set of tires on their vehicle. So we'll say these tires are in medium grade, and then we want to look at that wheel and say, is there any curb rash, anything that needs to be replaced or oxidized wheel, and you do have the ability again to upload the photo of the wheel. Again, we'll just continue to the front right, again, wheels, tires, and actually we'll make these two in good condition. Next would be warning lights. So when you take a peek at the car and you test drive it, are there any warning lights associated with this vehicle? Maybe the ABS light's on, or if all four tires were bad, maybe the TPSM light, things like that. You would want to go ahead and note. Mechanically, if there's anything mechanically wrong with the vehicle, if the roof is inoperable, maybe the AC is blowing warm, you would want to go ahead and note that here. Anything aftermarket, maybe that the customer has done with the vehicle, if they put wheels and tires on this car, usually the first question the dealer says to the customer is, do you have the factory wheels and tires? If so, would you be able to provide them or bring them with the vehicle? So that's a good thing to note. And then, of course, upload any photos of the vehicle you would like. Now, if you're putting this on your website, this form is all customer facing as well. So we would enable you to put this on your website and let the customer start the journey. So when they do come to your dealership to transact, this is where the transactional transparency takes place. It's the same thing they did on your website as when they walk into your dealership, they're seeing and experiencing the same questions and the same product. Okay, so now before we continue on, if you're the manager or you're the one setting the price on this vehicle, is where we're going to take a peek back here at the service history. So if you're keeping this car for full retail, we're going to go ahead and say, are we keeping it and just servicing it, or are we going to possibly OEM or certify the vehicle, put an extended warranty on it? When you see our number here, we are associating $300 to these two prices, but we're adding closer to $1,200 to $1,500 to target retail. And why that is when we started off saying we're going to help you create an exit strategy on the vehicle, if it is for retail, we are going to arm you with all of that data. So when we click through, we're able to actually see how many vehicles in market there are currently, 140 similarly. Of course, you'll drill out to your location by 50, 80, 160, 320, or nationally. And then median price, odometer, days on market, market day supply. We actually can drill down and see the entire history of a VIN when we start looking back. So what we're actually able to show you here when you're comparing is anytime this VIN has hit a retail-facing site, and then any price adjustments it's made along the way for you to make an educated decision of where you might want to price your vehicle at in market. We also give you all of this data in a Foursquare, so if you want to see where your vehicle is priced and where you might want to price it compared to your competitive set. So we see that maybe 26.2 we can get for this car certified. We're going to go back to as traded because now this entire platform turns into the used car invoice for you to trade with the consumer. So we know we can get about 26.2 for the vehicle. This now becomes your lane guidance here. When you're trading with a customer, we're advising you to trade somewhere around 19.2 for this vehicle. But if your exit strategy would be wholesale, we're telling you this car should do in an arbitrage market 20,005. So now here becomes your lane guidance. You will simply click here and create the consumer appraisal report, which is the used car invoice. If you want to step off and trade this vehicle for a little bit more money than what we're suggesting because you've decided you're keeping it for retail, that's fine. And maybe they're a good customer. They service their vehicle with you. They've bought, a few different vehicles from you before, and you want to offer them $19,900 for their vehicle. You have the ability, of course, to put your own price on the car and set it as the manager, and that, of course, would read your dealership name. This now provides the talk track around why you are trading their vehicle and offering them $19,900 for it. It does have a little bit of excessive kilometers on it, but it does have some great features and options on the vehicle. It has a clean Carfax or VHR associated. They are the second owner, but that's okay because it has a great color. They provide it one key or fob with it. And there's a little bit of damage that you will have to go ahead and repair and replace. And then, of course, tires. So this provides you the talk track around why you're trading their car for what it is. You have the ability to share this report via email or text message and include a message with it, or you can simply generate the PDF and print it out. So if you need it for your file or record, or if you want to print it out and share it with the customer, you have the ability to do that here. So the scorecard is a unique feature to our program, and as you're going through and clicking things off on this vehicle, you'll notice different things changing colors over here on that. The more green when you take a peek at the scorecard, the better for you as a dealer. That means green is good, right? But the biggest thing to take a peek at and pay attention to is your depreciation rate. So we are the only company that can provide daily and monthly depreciation against this VIN. So every VIN that you VIN code or all the VINs in your inventory, once you upload them into Accu-Trade, you will see daily and then monthly what the depreciation rate is. In our company, we consider this a melt rate. So just think of this VIN as a block of ice melting on your lot. At what point maybe do you want to get off of it, trade it in, or sell it? The other way dealers are looking at this and using this data is if this is a car they normally might not keep, but they're trading it from the customer and they're not real sure, how fast they're going to be able to turn this car. When trading this car and trying to put the final number on it, they will take a peek here and say, okay, how much does this depreciate in a month? So how far maybe do I want to trade into it because this isn't a car I'm really excited about? Or you know what, this is a car that's a quick turner for me. I'm good to go. Unique to our platform is we have proprietary common problems associated with a VIN. So we can tell you on 2013 Ford Fusion SE styles and trim level that there's transmission noise, slip, shutter, module, hard engagement, and or shift associated. We're not saying this car has it. But what's really important is when you are VIN decoding cars and you're trading it with a customer to either maybe have a conversation with them to see if this vehicle has experienced any of this, or when you're test driving it, of course, check it out for any of these possible common problems. Or B, if you are buying it at the auction, you may want to put it into PSI or arbitration if you notice any of this, and vice versa. If this is a car you did trade on and you want to take it to an auction, you may want to have it checked out prior, so when you do auction it off, you're not getting a call 3 days later saying it's in arbitration, it failed, and the deal's unwound. That's the last thing you want when you're selling a car at the auction. So we do provide common problems associated with any VIN that you VIN decode if there are any. And of course, then we do give you any and all recalls associated as well. Quickly to go back for a minute, if this is something that you are using with your customers and doing the walk around to keep them engaged and to help keep everything very transparent at your dealership, we do enable you to VIN decode the VIN and stay in consumer view mode. So as you're going through and you're doing things on the vehicle, they're only ever looking over your shoulder, seeing one price move, and not kind of peeking over your shoulder saying, oops, let me grab my car. Sorry about that. Peeking over your shoulder going, I think I want the 7,000 for my car, because they don't understand what these numbers are, or even the 5,000. So you will have that ability as the dealer to stay in consumer view mode. Or if you're using this with your salespeople and maybe you have some brand new green pea salespeople, you're able to actually remove the pricing and just enable the salesperson to start with the consumer, get the car teed up for the manager to go out, collect the miles, keys, color, any options on the vehicle, and then your manager can go out and actually finish up the job and set the final price on the vehicle. So when you log into your dashboard in the morning, you will see your dashboard. Again, this is a demo account, but you will see your prospects, any appraisals that you've done, your look to book, inventory, and offers. This next section is broke down by buckets, so your 1 to 15 day bucket and so forth, how many vehicles you have in that bucket, days on market, market day supply, or price to market. And then we also look at current versus sold. Your next box will be inventory distribution by make. So in your buckets, what are you stocking at Dodge and so forth. This is unique to our program. So this is a really helpful tool. This is a year-over-year snapshot of how your inventory performed over the last year. So this is actually July 27th of 2019 and what this dealer's inventory looked like, and then how it performed throughout this past year, and then what it looks like current today. We also give recommended sells out of your inventory. So this could be a combination of things. This could be a combination of vehicles that maybe you don't normally stock and you traded for one and you did put it in your inventory. It could be something maybe sitting out in your aged inventory bucket, or possibly even something we see that's getting extremely hot in the market that you might want to push to a broader wholesale market to go ahead and sell out of your inventory. We've also added the service lane. So this is a great product to run and use if you have a service lane or your service drive to farm any work, that's coming in to get an oil change, tire rotation, or brakes or anything that you may want to offer them, an offer on their vehicle to trade them out or trade them up into a vehicle. You do have the ability to import through a
Holly, can we just speak about that service lane for a minute? So we do have, just so everyone knows, we do have some dealers that their service manager and used car manager get together and they go through the list of service appointments in the following day, and they assign a person within the dealership to actually be running those vehicles, condition reports on those targeted vehicles. And I know that there was a dealer last year that when we put this into play, it was a Honda store in a pretty good market, but they took in 18 extra trades through service that month. The first month they implemented that strategy. So really powerful use case.
Yep. You do have the ability to upload a CSV file of up to 1,000 records at one time. You can do as many files during a day or a week as you would like. These will all be tagged in your list of appraisals as service lanes, so you can discriminate and see which ones are service if you want to filter your list and only look at service that day, or which ones are coming off of your website or where the source is coming from. Okay, great.
Holly, I don't know if you can hear me. This is Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
And for everybody on the call, I'm the CTO with Accu-Trade. I just wanted to add that import feature you mentioned does support a couple common service lane formats. So if you have X time, I think the rentals format and a couple others are already supported. So if you have your service appointments or ROs in those systems, you can upload them directly into Accu-Trade.
We introduced the VIN-dow, which works live on any live auction platform or simulcast platform. So if you would like, I could move over to that and show that program running live.
Like Holly said, this is a Chrome extension, and it's available. It sits over any simulcast just like this.
Yep, and it does work with Smart Auction Ally eBlock, any CarMax auction, Auction Edge, Velocicast. If you are a vAuto dealer, by the way, this entire platform does push to vAuto. And if not, and you're just working in your vAuto, you would have the VIN-dow up in your vAuto to be able to run simultaneously. Works with any Manheim simulcast auction. ACV, I don't know if ACV is up there, but maybe you buy in the States through ACV, and we can, take a look at a couple of those other platforms just to show. So what happens basically is as each car changes, this will run automatically for you. We do VIN decode the vehicle. We will plug in color. Once your Carfax account is linked up, you will know automatically if it has a bad Carfax and any options that the vehicle has from reading the condition report. So you'll see here the miles are plugged in, color. We know this particular one has a bad Carfax, so we have that check marked off. You're able to actually go through and check any of the retail data associated with it. So if you're bidding or buying from a dealer, you can see how long they've had it in stock and in their inventory, and use this live as it's going. You can pause it if the sale's going too fast for you and you want to do a little more homework or research, and set it back. And you can open it to full screen if you want to take a quick peek at the full screen as well. You would also have the ability that if you're doing your homework the night before or the day before on a sale, to go ahead and run these cars. So if I take a peek at this one that's coming up, it'll pull out here. I can do my homework on this car, take a look at everything, do my research, mark off anything that I want to mark off and see. So now when this car actually comes up, it'll show that I've already ran that car, and all I have to do is simply click it, and off it goes.